Okay, so picture this, an organization so massive, so complicated, that it's completely blind to its own biggest problems. Well, today, we're diving into the world of the specialists who step into that chaos and actually draw the map out. We're talking about a company called ArcMetis, and their whole mission is to tame that overwhelming complexity. It really boils down to this one question, right? How do you fix a problem you can't even see? For some of the world's biggest organizations, this is the root cause of countless failed projects and honestly billions of wasted dollars. When your technology, your strategy, and your teams are all just a tangled mess, where do you even start? And that unseen problem, it's complexity. That's the heart of what we're digging into today. And forget about the kind of architects who design buildings. We're talking about a totally different breed, an enterprise architect, someone who draws the blueprint for an entire organization, making all that invisible mess suddenly, finally visible. All right, so let's actually step inside that maze. This first section is all about the real-world costs that pile up when you're trying to modernize, but you're basically flying blind. It shows you just how damaging that unseen complexity can really be. And you can see how these problems just feed on each other. It's this vicious cycle. It usually starts with tangled up technology, which makes it pretty much impossible to hit your strategic goals. And that confusion, it creates all these hidden security risks. You waste a ton of money on projects that were probably doomed from the start, which of course just tangles the technology even more. It's a downward spiral that's incredibly tough to break out of on your own. So the big question is, how do you break that cycle? Well, you need a map to get out of the maze, and that map has a name. It's called enterprise architecture. It's the whole discipline designed to bring some serious order to all this chaos. Just think about it, like you're building a massive skyscraper. You would never let a dozen different teams just start building stuff without a single unified blueprint, right? Of course not. Well, enterprise architecture is that master blueprint, but for an entire organization. It shows how everything from your highest level mission all the way down to one single piece of software is supposed to connect and work together. And the difference is just night and day. On one side, you've got the chaos, wasted money, constant security scares, and projects that just fall flat. But on the other side, with a clear blueprint, you get clarity. You get strategic alignment. You get successful outcomes. You finally stop guessing, and you start building with actual intent. And this is exactly where a firm like ArcMetis comes into the picture. They are the specialists who step into those incredibly complex environments and begin the methodical work of creating that master plan. They provide the blueprints. But, how does this actually work in the real world? It's not magic. ArcMetis uses a very specific 5-step process to build that blueprint, and it's designed to take an organization all the way from total chaos to complete clarity. It's a really logical progression when you look at it. Step 1, discovery. What are we even trying to do here? What's the mission? Step 2, current state. Okay, where are we right now, warts and all? Then, step 3 is the future state. Where do we actually want to go? Step 4 is the roadmap, the literal turn-by-turn directions to get there. And finally, the deliverables. They package all this up into clear, actionable insights so that the leaders can make confident, informed decisions. Now, a huge part of their job is matching the right technology to the mission's goals. But here's the crucial part. Their independence. ArcMetis doesn't sell any software, they don't sell hardware. Their only product is the plan itself. And that's a really big deal, because it means their advice is completely unbiased. It's focused only on what's best for the client, not on pushing a particular product. So you might be wondering, who actually needs this kind of deep architectural guidance? Well, we're talking about organizations where the decisions aren't just important, they're truly high stakes. Yeah, we're talking about places where the stakes could not be higher. Think about federal agencies that manage national security, or state governments trying to deliver critical services, or even huge companies in heavily regulated fields like finance and healthcare. In these worlds, you just can't afford to move fast and break things. The consequences are way too serious. And the common thread here is always leadership. ArcMetis works directly with the C-suite, the CIOs, the CTOs, the executives who are ultimately on the hook for making these massive, high-stakes decisions about the future. ArcMetis provides the clarity those leaders absolutely need to act decisively. So to do this kind of work, where the stakes are so high, you really need a strong philosophy. And that brings us to the principles that guide their entire approach, which is all built around a core commitment to integrity. It really starts with this simple but super powerful idea: clarity before complexity. The thinking is, before you jump into some complicated new tech like AI or the cloud, you first have to get a crystal clear understanding of where you are now and what your goals are. You have to bring structure to the ambiguity first. And this core idea is supported by 5 key pillars. First, a deep belief that good architecture drives outcomes. Second, an absolute commitment to integrity above all. Third, a laser focus on a mission-first strategy. It's not just about the cool tech. Fourth, building systems to be secure by design right from the very beginning. And finally, a deep sense of ownership and accountability for the results. What's also really notable is their model. Every single engagement is personally led by the founder, Sori Giovanni, who brings over 15 years of deep experience to the table. This means clients aren't just handed off to some junior team. Nope, they get direct access to senior, hands-on, strategic leadership from day one. So if there's one thing to take away from this entire explainer, it's this. Whether you're modernizing a huge federal agency or transforming a giant financial services company, success or failure really hinges on the quality of your plan. A clear, well-designed architectural blueprint isn't just nice to have. It's the non-negotiable foundation. And that really leaves us with one final thought. This principle isn't just for massive organizations. Think about your next big project, your next major initiative, whatever it is, and ask yourself this question. Am I building from a blueprint, or am I just building in the dark?